really pay attention and trust some of these old levels. And we'll get into it when we talk about it. But like snow, I had a line at 126.56, and at its lows, it fell below that, but then just kind of hovered around that line on Wednesday, and then CPI came off, and it just launched right from that spot, that exact spot, and it's
Yeah.
just kind of there's just
Hey,
there's too many coincidences.
what about
It's just start,
fucking Piton? Excuse my language, but Piton eight.
yeah,
I didn't 840 though. Did you see that Wednesday?
yeah.
I mean, it literally
I know.
839, perfect bounce. I mean, how long have I been saying 840? It's been a while, and but
Yeah,
now we're on the other
even
side of
as
it.
even before CPI even came out, I mean, it went 840 to like 870 or something, and in options that alone is, and then obviously from there it just went crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, it's a perfect
and lemonade,
example of a
like I you know
an SR flip.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Lemonade's a
So yeah, I mean
whole nother thing.
it's and this is where I think it's important to have those like individual stocks that you really study, because this whole idea of, oh, the market's hot, everything's going up, or the market's you know cold, everything's going down. um, that can work somewhat, but you're going to miss a lot of really good stuff, or you're going to end up on the wrong side of things.
Yeah.
If you had just assumed, oh, CPI is cooled off, crypto will shake off this FUD, and everything. It's just not going to happen right now. So you just talk.
I thought CPI would be cool, but I didn't think it would lead to the rally. I really didn't. Um,
Yeah.
I just thought that the I didn't really take into consideration the two events together. A little bit of cooling, a little bit of resolved in the politics side,
Well,
and
I thought, if I thought that we would get that kind of initial flush and sell off, and then maybe a recovery like happened last time,
sure,
where and it had a big, like the indices dropped over 2% pre-market and then recovered green, so the flip was massive. But for it to just take off, and I mean 7% on QQQ is just a little bit absurd. And then everyone who tried to just say, well, it's got to pull back Friday, it did not.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
it's just continuation from all that euphoria. So,
Yo, I want
so
to.
I mean, it was interesting. And the thing is, you don't have to be right about these moves like that to trade. I mean, you just have to stay focused on stuff that you know and that you're prepared for.
Yeah, yeah, no, you nailed SPY before CPI, but I mean that was kind of the caveat. Like I don't know what's going to happen after CPI, but
Yeah,
your
yeah.
ranges were pretty spot on um, from last week. I got them right here. They're 385, 365, and we kind of sat there. I had it a little lower, but yours was perfect. I just follow it for that. To be honest with you, I like the SQQ a little better for the way I trade. So.
Yeah, yeah, and that one's
It's tradable again.
getting down at a pretty attractive. Yeah, yeah. It's not really one that you want to be getting in on any kind of melt up, because stocks, like to find a reason to bring these back, and
Yeah.
you can get smacked on that. But yeah, it's definitely kind of at my scale in level here under 45. All right, so we can get into
Yeah, I wasn't dumb this week.
what are your top?
I just started recording because we there's so much good stuff when we just talk like that. As long as it's not admin stuff,
Yeah.
so we're already going. So whatever you want to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Obviously
Cool,
spy.
cool.
Well, we got spy, of course. I'm assuming crypto.
Yeah.
Crypto's on your
Yes.
list. What is that?
Uh, Election.
Okay,
Happened.
politics. Yeah, politics. That's what I was going to say.
But
Politics.
yeah, it's namely with
Um,
its impact on some sectors and what I see.
yeah, I want. I mean, those I posted it, and I just want to make sure I'm on the same thought. But I'm pretty sure it was weed, solar, and something else. Uh, yeah, weed and solar, a little bit of EV, just because of the dim wind. I think we'll see pushes in those, even if they're not more than a week or three.
Yeah, China as well. I think is
Yeah, they're
worth this.
opening back up.
Yeah.
I've been following that. Yeah, so wherever you want to start, I'm good with
Okay,
whatever.
great.
You know, I want to go.
So with Spy, it's a little when it has a couple days like that, it's a little bit tough. Um, I think there's some more upside here, but it's a little bit dicey as well. But anyway, so in terms of some numbers, I think we could work our way up to 412 and change. Would kind of be me to uh, top end on it. Um, I don't know that we'd get some kind of dramatic pullback. I think you'd need some kind of catalyst for that, but a little dip under 390 probably could definitely happen. But it was such a dramatic breakout of its pattern that I think they're going to try to sustain the upside a little bit.
Yeah, middle of the zone for me. 430 still the top, but there's a perfect shelf right where you're talking at 413, 412. So that's definitely there on volume profile. I think we it's that 390 to like yeah, that 413 level, but I think we test 390 413. I don't think we get up above that this week without some news. Um, but the Fed news could happen at any time. You know, they can make a statement at any time. So um, China could open back up. That could be a big push. Um, yeah, so
Yeah,
I like the downside to be below 400, but I think we finish, you know, the four the four below 410, but in that range on the week. We got to have a
yeah,
side. We got to have like a sideways week, in my opinion, P. We've had too many of these weeks that are just like extremely one direction.
yes, and the like people piling into companies that had bad earnings and
Yeah.
it dipped probably a little too far. And they're not even a lot of them like Twillo. It's not even like a quarter of a way through that. But at the time, it kind of makes sense for those to pull back. I'm pretty bearish on large banks, and they make
Yeah.
a chunk of those indices. So like JPM and Wells Fargo and Goldman Sachs, all them like they could pull things back a bit, even if which in that scenario you could have a lot of mid caps and small caps that are kind of detached SPY and not really about what it's doing, so you'll still have some retail pushing some of those names too.
I was on that when we first started talking about the 20% that stuff is going to check down, but stuff's going to pick itself up off the floor and continue to go, and it's going to be good. Like it's not all moving 5% down at once and 5% up at once, and that moves SPY. Like it's a constant up and down depending on things, and some things are good right now. If you don't see it, you haven't been hanging out with us much. But like the AA, if you held on to AA when we played AA, you had just a great month. Same with the Cenex. That was 40%. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, so that
Oh, I know.
you just gotta
And
kind of
then
know where to be. Casinos,
if you're
Win,
risk if you're yeah,
and
Win, Milko,
MGM,
something like that.
all of them 10, 20% or more. I mean, 20 to 30%. I know we all are day traders, right? But 20 or 30% is what you should be making like on your portfolio on the year, right? Like that's a good year. That really
Yeah.
is. That's what you want to be doing. So if you can do that on like a trade consistently, you're gonna be fine. I shoot for smaller percentages than that, but these are some major moves on if you're just looking at the right stuff.
Yeah, and if you're a dividend risk averse kind of
Dow,
investor, like Dow, that's
yeah.
exactly the one I was going to say. You caught Dow in the 40s again. That was a gift last time,
Especially
and
if you have money. If you're a money guy, yeah, like that's a safe place to put 100K right now, or it was. If you got it in the 40s, and then that's what you do
yeah,
as a dividend person. You live off that.
yeah, you just reinvest the dividends and just keep growing the position. Yeah, it's one of the better ones for that for sure.
Yeah, no, and we've been not only are we on it, but we kind of give dip buy opportunities for the lack of better terms in a bearish market, which is insane. Um, yeah, I like it. I
So
like it.
I had this plan for AMRS, and like it just went before I thought it would. I was looking for it, and it still might check down. I wanted those ads around 180, right? I didn't want to buy it at 150 because I just had no feeling. I'm like it could just fall to $1 for all I know, and there was some flow to that. But the way that bounced back, that was just crazy.
So,
So we'll be back for that one.
if you go into the Discord and you go into Unk Notes,
Yeah.
and you turn on notifications,
Yeah.
I dropped it on the 11th in the morning before market open, for people. So, which was the perfect day to,
I know. I should.
because as soon
Yeah,
as it
I
can,
was just so focused on my.
yeah, for me,
Yeah.
P, when it confirms the 177, which it did the day before on the 10th, um, that's the next day you're
Yeah.
going to get continuation into the channel. So it's pretty easy. It is a pretty easy play in that regard. But I'm with you. You don't call it a lot of people I don't think understand that's one thing we have in common, but you got to get back in the range or you could have a leg down that's pretty severe. Um, and you can see it with AMRS. As soon as it dropped through 230, it went all the way down. I mean, it just kept dropping. Um, so when you find support and you see that it's respecting, in lack of better terms, support, that's when you trade it, and that's what AMRS was for me.
This is. I mean, good example is so DocuSign, right? The perfect
Yeah,
stock
yeah,
for these conditions. I had let it go, and the reason I let it go is because the setup I had in mind felt, it was invalidated when it just had those like three horrible days in a row
yeah.
and was down at under $40. I'm just like, I don't really have flow for this. I mean, I had it. Yeah, there's a lot of out of the money bets, but they were in both directions. I couldn't really, I couldn't retrade that without it, finding it some life. And so now, I don't want to buy it after it went up 17%,
No.
but I'm also interested in it again, and I'll be reading and seeing what it does over $50.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, I'm finding you missed some crazy moves being safe. I mean, but that's
uh,
just how it goes.
it's going to
And we
work
got
for
plenty.
you in the long run, and the percentages are big enough in the safe places. That's how you got to look at it.
Yeah,
You hit a home run every then, and that's the thing. You're going to hit a home run every now and there. I know you option guys are used to getting the big percentages, but in general, you're going to hit a home run every now and again. But if you do not get base hits between those home runs, it's not going to matter. Those base hits are what keep you alive.
yeah. Oh, exactly. And it's but why by the way, like I've been talking more bearish than maybe I ever have, but it really is very targeted what I was looking at. I saw the breakdown of Tesla clear as day to 180. Not really interested in shorting it down there, although I think it can, fail further. But that was the whole thesis on it. I know coin well enough to know that scalp the downside, but it's going to rip back up. There's just too many
Yeah, yeah.
institutions in there. So I go for something that's a lot has a lot more weakness, which is that micro strategy. and just really did well on that. So yeah, and I missed so much upside doing that, but I did well with what my plan was, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah, no, I said that like I think Tuesday because again, the hot list and the read the room list were 100% green for the second straight day. Um, I was like, you're not gonna just slow down, people. You're not gonna catch it all. Just get one or two that you're confident in, because you can't. You're not getting all these trades. You're better off getting your sizing right in the right one on a good level than trying to just throw a bunch of lines in the water. In my opinion, that's what's working for me, at least, is just playing the proper sizing on stuff that I really believe the level in, and
Yeah, yeah,
proper market conditions.
right. And Flo's kind of like this too, where I saw the I saw what I thought Sam was going to do. I did not think it was going to do it in 2 days. So like,
Yeah, yeah,
it's and I just had one. I had one call, and it went like 100. I I sold it. I kind of accidentally sold it at 500, and it went to 1,200 in one day. $100 to $1,200 for December 420 or something like that. But that is kind of rare, and you can't start to go large in positions with that kind of gain in mind. I only bought one because it could have easily, dropped 50%, but I might still keep it because it was just one. It's $100 to 50, and I had plenty of time, so I would just wait it out. But yeah, I mean, they feels good when you get those, but you can't let it change your psychology too much. I don't think.
no, no. And for me, you got to figure out how you and well, it's share side, it's a little different, but you got to figure out how you leave runners or how you play that side.
Yeah, yeah,
Easiest way for me is just leave profit or leave 50% profit if you want to leave some shares, um, and that helps in general with sizing because a lot of people don't like to put in, I guess, a larger size, but if you know you're scaling out right away, it's easier to put in a larger size. If you
yeah,
know I'm taking, let's say, 60% of this off the table at 10%, and then another like 30 or 25% off the table at 15% max, or I'm stop lossing this in the green at 5. It's much easier to come up with a system like that than just I'm in and how far can I go.
yeah,
Because I'm in and how far can I go is really hard to repeat, and it's kind of taxing on the psyche. But if you know that I'm just taking this stop loss in here, and then I'm seeing what happens. It's much easier to play that way. I know a part of that for me is having a little bit of capital to be able to re-enter trades. But again, that's part of the plan. You got to set that up. If you only have like 10 to play with, you can't put 5 in your play. Start playing with 1,000 on each play, and that way you can do it 10 times or 5
yeah.
times. That way you settled funds. You just got to really build your system around, I always say your life, but what you have going on. And personally, I mean, full disclosure, I think if you are one of them 2,000 to 10,000 accounts, you should be swing trading or really playing more of a DCA off of a catalyst, in my opinion, and not playing options. But that's just me.
Yeah, no, I think that's true, and it's all about kind of what there are options that in effect trade like shares. And what I mean by that is like when I list contract ticks and they're out a month from now and it's on X or something like that, you plan to stay in those,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you have the time where basically a $200 position is equivalent to a $1,000 share position,
exactly.
um, with a little bit more risk, um, but manageable risk that's not gonna rug pull on you. X isn't likely to do an offering or something that's just
I'm
gonna
best.
tank it 20% after hours. So
Yeah, best
yeah,
example I have is like how Pele plays Fubo. If I
yeah,
was a small account, that's how I would be playing. He just buys the
yeah,
dips, and then when he gets up profitable, he sells it, and he just does it over and over again. And you can do that. You're basically making one linear trade a week, trying to buy when it's low and sell some of it when it's high.
Yeah. No, that stock's a really good example of the CPI saved the setup.
Yeah.
It was getting a little precarious, but it's right back where we like it. So
I legit it's my read the room stocks, the ones that are around longer, kind of move to the top because I just rewrite the notes, right? And it's Fubu's number one on it, and it legit said this week, the setup is dying. This is the last week I'm giving if 350 doesn't hold. Like it's in the note. Like seen it coming a mile away, but you're totally right. CPI saved it. And I said that midweek, like timing is everything. If you had earnings Thursday after CPI, you did good even if you had a bad report. It's all about it's all about timing.
Yeah, it costs more to make a burger than they're selling it for. That thing, and it's been like that forever. So, yeah, but you don't short that here. It's gonna run. Even heck, when it like a few earnings ago dropped 20% after hours and closed 20% green. Just they just squeeze the hell out of it. So it's you just have to be. It's I think being a perma bear is very frustrating existence, because even when you get your bear market, the upside moves are just violent and will shake you out of anything you try to do long term. So you just have to be prepared.
I'm not a bear by any means. We all know this. We all know I play stocks. I play them to the upside. That's not going to change. I'm not going to OTC. But from the sidelines, if you've been a bear for like the last year and you're not rich, give it up. Just give it up. It ain't working for you. You've had the best bear market ever, and it ain't working for you. Just give it up. Play the other side because it's easy.
Because what happens is they look for that confirmation down, and when they're when they probably should enter up, or there's just a little bit left piece out of that downside move, to enter there and just get wrecked on these reversals. Everybody like wanted to short test now. Where were you when it was 230 and struggling?
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, it's all it's part of the learning process. I think a lot of people go bull bear based on frustration.
I agree.
One side a lot, they flip to the other one, and so it's too chaotic. But let me get into crypto for a minute. So I've been posting a lot of like crypto stories and news, and in that space, you get a lot of just theorizing and looking at individual wallets and what they're doing and which fund is going to fail next and all of that. And I don't know. Like I have some that stand out to me as kind of suspect, like crypto.com and Binance seem to have some issues. Coin has issues that are more like standard in a sort of struggling tech company for this environment, but I think Coin will probably get out of all this. I don't think BlackRock would have gone in with them if they suspected it was anything like FTX or whatever. But my point being, there is just like clear as day to me, BTC more downside to the like 12 to 14 range, and so because of that, like I think that I'd be really careful about rallies. And I don't know if you trade crypto, you are going to get a lot of volatility, some wild moves, but you just want to be careful. And flow wise, like MSTR is like it's going to go sub 150 to me. So I think that we're by no means clear of all I'm don't think the bottom is in or even that close to it right now.
I'm a hot take on crypto, and it's basically because of the Hut report, um, and a little bit to the Riot report. But you're just wasting your time looking at that stuff right now, in my opinion. It it's gonna go through a cycle, and it could be a year long. It might be the last one to the table. It might be 6 months long, and it's all downside, in my opinion. There's just no good news there. You'll know when the news catalyst comes out because it'll probably have something to do with the government. Um, but yeah, I think there's just way better stuff that's not the sector to be spending a lot of time in.
Well, and if you're a crypto miner, you're just not going to be very profitable with it trading at this price.
Yeah.
You're barely keeping the lights on. So that's why, like for me, it's either downside or the coin's the only one I just because it responds so well to the levels I have. But coin itself is going to be really hard to trade when this breaks down. When it finally gives up that 47 and gets into like the 30s or 20s, I'm going to just have to wait a while. It'll be like Hood, where Hood reached that level where it's like, okay, this is not a $6 stock. This is an $11 stock. And it did that. So it's going to, when it breaks down, like I'll even have to walk away from that one, I think.
Yeah, you have to wait for the market to overreact, as we always say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just think there's a lot of like news and, the whole FTX thing. And I mean, that's a whole rabbit hole again, politically, even for some reason. But you're just wasting a lot of time looking at that when there's some like life-changing opportunities right now, in the stocks. Like there really is. I just don't think crypto. I think crypto needs to become where it's going to be life-changing again. Like yeah, coin at $12. That's probably a better gamble. um, than where we are
right.
now. And we have to get there.
And,
we have to get there, right? And that's not going to happen overnight. Bitcoin at 8K,
I
Bitcoin at 8K, probably better than 20K. I don't know Bitcoin levels that well, but
well, like here's an example. Like you take especially these altcoins, and are you going to take and try to draw TA lines on Binance Coin or
no.
or crypto.com's whatever it's called? Like, I mean, the news, their circumstances will just break the whole chart if it goes bad. So there's just there's no such thing as support on these on these coins. It's not the price of copper or something that's gonna hold you up a bit.
When I give a Bitcoin level, it's purely like looking at the chart and then like kind of going off the psychological aspect of it. It has nothing to do with like the historical levels of Bitcoin. And if it is, it's like there's very few of those. There's very few levels like historically that I would say are huge for Bitcoin. But it's just like the market value over the last 30 days.
And Bitcoin's really the only one that's even remotely. I mean, Ethereum has more like real world utility, I guess. But yeah, no, I'm completely with you on charting these.
I mean, that's the best for me. That's the thesis, I guess, that I have, and I would. It's just less stressful. Is that we're gonna have a big problem with crypto, and like 80% of these bullshit coins are gonna go away, and you're gonna be left with like 2 or 3 good ones that meet the criteria of whatever the world government says. This is what we want. This is what we're gonna accept as a standard. And then that's when Bitcoin, those 3 will make a pretty good move back to the north. And that's when you want to be in whatever. Same with exchanges. They'll have to meet some standard, right? The exchanges will have to meet the standards of the U.S. to operate here, and then the EU standards to operate there, and so on and so forth. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, I think that's the best case thesis for crypto. That's what I would be wanting. I didn't buy Bitcoin 10 years ago. So the best thing for me is to have like a flush, but trying to just guess that it's going to turn around and be hopeful right now does not seem like a positive thing. I mean, it's literally negative news every month. Someone steals something, something come up missing. Nigerians are still calling you asking for some. You know, it's
Yeah,
not it's
yeah.
not usually good news. It's just not good news.
No,
And
and the whole thing about the cold storage of crypto, that might be the safest option, but the whole appeal of like how crypto goes from 60,000 to 200,000 is people just get opening their phone app and
yeah,
buying
yeah, yeah.
and moving it around easily, not putting it on a USB drive and putting it, in your gun safe
You
in
know
your
what?
house.
You know what that sounds like to me, honestly, when I hear cold storage like being touted as what we should do. It sounds just
What's
like
that?
the AMC apes. Just hold.
Yeah,
Just hold.
yeah, yep,
I mean, that's what it sounds like. Take your liquidity off the market so the price goes up so I can get out.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Just hold the line.
right.
um, I mean, maybe not with Bitcoin and Ethereum, but if you're doing that with some Doge or some SHIB or some ADA or some BAT or some
Right.
Cardova
Yeah.
or some whatever coin, some
Yep.
FTX,
Put it in your bunker and wait for the end of the world, and
yeah,
you're
it'll
yeah,
be there for you. Big,
yeah.
big facts. Yeah, no,
Um,
I just think. I mean, again, and I'm kind of pounding the table on this right here. I just think you're better off not trading the sexy stuff, i.e., Bitcoin. You need to trade the boring stuff like AA and Oxy and X and Lemonade. I'm sorry, but we got levels. They're beat down, and they're just safer.
yeah. No, yeah, 100% agree. And even you're better off. Heck, you're better off trading Carvana than
You're better off
some of the
full
stuff.
porting
Yeah,
LGHL for
yeah,
50%.
right.
Um, Viperfish new post-it note on the wall because of LGHL.
Yeah,
He got his biggest percentage out of it.
that is awesome.
It's hilarious. The most shittiest stock. Well, the best thing, because I talked to that guy at the gym. He has the premium Discord membership, $70. You pay for the Discord and the gym membership. Um, um, he has no problem selling that position, right? There's no hope in
Yeah,
that, right? And that's
right.
important. Sometimes that's important for a trader is to trade stuff that you're not hopeful in. You know, so you're not like this is going to the moon, or did I nail it, or should I just keep this forever? You just take your percent.
Yeah, yeah. No, exactly. So we can get into the election a bit. So there isn't, the uproar about stolen elections that would matter to me. Like, I mean, they're taking a while to count it, and you have kind of your normal stuff, but I wouldn't call it really like contested, right? So that whole scenario is sort of out. What you had, um,
No, you don't think Nevada? We're not going to get some of that. I think we're going to get some
no,
of that, Pete.
I don't think it'll amount to anything.
Okay, okay. I think it'll
And then
just give them something to talk about till Herschel Walker
uh,
in December.
yes, exactly right. Yeah, and basically the GOP underperformed, I think,
Yes.
given the economy and all that. So you're going to get a big internal strife within the party about like Trumpism versus DeSantis or whatever. But the biggest key to me, as far as like stock related aspects, is that it would have taken a, a clear GOP majority in the House and Senate to kill some of these like solar credits and like EV stuff, or even not even necessarily to do that, but to create that perception that because Biden could just veto anything, but to create that perception that those kind of programs were at risk, and
Mm-hmm.
that could have turned the sentiment strongly against those sectors. So my read on that is that they're kind of a little bit in the clear, and their charts and flow and all that's just gonna kind of do what it's gonna do. Enphase is pulling back, but it's very much within our zone, so it's not likely to just fully break down, I think.
Yeah, I seen the lack of the red wave pretty much is people want to move on from old time politicians, include and Trump. Trump was uncomfortable
Yeah.
for people, so anything that's Trump they want to move away from. But I don't think the Democrats understand that they are also probably in that boat in the long run. People want to move away from the people that've been there for way too long.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just
Totally.
feels like it feels like that's coming around. I think just having a little bit um, of a change in the it's not total control. No matter how the Senate goes, will be better off for the market because you're not going to get these pipe dreams that we've
Yeah.
gotten for the last 2 years that kind of don't come to fruition, or when they do come to fruition, they're um, not as good as we thought they would be, or fruitful as we thought they would be. Um, so on the other,
Like taxing unrealized gains on stocks.
or like student loan credit, stuff like that.
Right.
So for me, I'm real close to in line with the professor. Um, we probably could do a whole video on solar chargers, or I mean, our EV chargers. We literally probably could do because those charts are all in a great spot because they're just beat the crap. But solar, EV chargers, and then the weed stocks for me are probably gonna be the ones that get the biggest bump because of the election news right now. But I don't think they're going to be good for more than like a month or two, right? Because if they don't do something, if you don't get sustainable news, the moves won't hold, in
Yeah.
my opinion. But I think
Right.
we're going to have a good month in a couple sectors, kind of like we did when Biden got elected. I don't think Tilray's going from $3 to like 60 again, but I think we'll get some pretty good moves. In again, solar, chargers, and weed.
Yeah. Yeah. That Tilray, that coincidental conversation we were having about it right as it went nuts. That was an example of like, you can chase that one because that had just some crazy intraday momentum, and then it settled down, kind of beautifully and very readable. Those dominate the healthcare sector right now in my reads.
I was
So,
real happy with CGC hitting my target and passing Tilray in price.
yeah.
I had to get
Where
it's
they
a
at in market cap? Are they comparable in market cap too?
I don't think they are comparable in market cap. I think Tilray's way bigger.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I can pull it up. But yeah, Tilray. I'm pretty sure Tilray's bigger in market cap. But I love the sector right now. Tilray's two and
Yeah.
a half billion, and CGC is 2 billion. Yeah, so they're a little bigger, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
So I think that's pretty much it. Let me see here real quick.
Yeah, we got SPY level. What's your bottom on SPY? I got 412 for the top. What do you want on the bottom?
For this week, let me see. Probably like 378.
378. Well, so that's pretty much where we're different at. You got about a $10 drop on me on there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I just really think we're gonna get a sideways week. We're due. We're really due.
Yeah, we are. It's probably more likely to just touch down in the 380s. But yeah, I do think we could get a significant pullback, but it would actually take a catalyst. I'm just reading what I see
Sure.
in the flow on it. So
I mean, really, what I'm looking at is weekly candles on most things, right? And if we just stay in that range, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Like, I don't see them burning some of these charts. I don't see them going up or
yeah,
down another leg next week. So I just kind of see us staying in this big ass candle from last week. Um, yeah, yeah. Sweet. Let's I'm gonna stop this and then get over to the other one. That's okay with you?
Oh yeah, let's do it.